course, they don't play on paper. But who would you say?
It's the Lakers, Rachel. Rob Pelinka went out there in free agency, and he did his thing. He went out there and got free agents like the Lakers lost and didn't win the championship. When you look at him getting Dennis Schroeder, Montrezl Harrell, who we stole from the Clippers, who was the sixth man of the year, and then you go out there and get Wes Matthews for 3.6, one of the best two-way players in the game today. Not the best, but one of the best. And then you go and land Marc Gasol, a veteran big. That was crucial.
Yeah, the answer has to be both these teams are awesome. They're my favorites to go 1 and 2 in the West. But look, the Lakers just won a championship and they got better. So the answer has to be Lakers. Dennis Schroeder has an ingredient they just didn't have last year. A water bug point guard who can create his own shot. I think he'll do a great job running pick and roll with LeBron and AD. And Marc Gasol is a perfect fit with their starting five if they decide to start him. Same level of interior defense as Dwight and JaVale, maybe even a little better, except he can shoot threes and space the floor for Anthony Davis. So all of a sudden when Anthony Davis is posting up, the lane is clear. Anthony Davis's pick and roll diving to the rim, the lane is clear. And oh, by the way, if you decide to put your center on Anthony Davis and try to hide your power forward on Marc Gasol, he can take that guy down to the weight room. You throw in Montrezl Harrell, maybe keep him in a six-man kind of roll off the bench. I think the Lakers had an amazing offseason. Clippers are doing great, but when you win the championship, you get the benefit of the doubt.
It really does seem like a long time ago, guys, right? That the narrative out there was, gee, I don't know if players want to play with LeBron. Kyrie left. Kevin Durant didn't want to come. Kawhi Leonard didn't want to come to Lakers and play with him. Guess what? Guys seem to be wanting to play on that Lakers team. And such an interesting thing happened with the Lakers last year, and I wanted to ask you guys about it because last summer, I said once they built that roster, gee, I'm worried about their perimeter defense. I was very concerned about where that was going to come from. And if you look at the numbers of where this Lakers roster, their core players were the previous season, look at their defensive numbers from last season, you can see where that concern was. But then look at this past season. Every single guy got better. I mean, much better. And I would say this is in some ways the Frank Vogel effect. This is in some ways LeBron getting serious on defense the way he hadn't in the previous few years. But it has sort of made me wonder, how do we account for this thing when looking at rosters to say, some of these guys might be so much better consistently 1 through 8 there than they were the previous season. Zach, when you see those numbers, what do you do when you evaluate rosters?
Well, a lot of those numbers, those are team defense or individual defensive ratings. Those are really heavily dependent on your team context. So when you add in Anthony Davis and you add in engaged LeBron James and you retool the team around them, everybody's defensive numbers are going to get better. So I don't put a huge amount of stock into those numbers. I just think the Lakers got better talent, including a defensive player of the year level player in Anthony Davis, a coach who's going to stress defense from day one. And they came out with the mindset of, we're building our team defense and out. And when you do all those things together, yeah, everybody's numbers are going to improve. I don't think, and everyone bought in. Guys who maybe hadn't bought in as much in the past bought in. So that's what happens. And I do think they can carry that over into this season. And as you pointed out, Rachel, their perimeter depth, just as good now as it was when they won in the bubble, maybe even better.
And Zach, you hit a great point by bringing up Frank Vogel. When you look at Coach Vogel, especially when he was with the Pacers, they were always at the top defensively. So Frank Vogel brings that defensive mindset. And once he got LeBron James and Anthony Davis to buy in, then it's a ripple effect. Now you see Caldwell Pope, he's buying in on the defensive end. And then you seen Dwight Howard and JaVale McGee last year, the way that they had a defensive impact. But now you add Dennis Schroeder, who's a guy that could pick up 94 feet, who's feisty on the defensive end, who gets you extra possession, along with a guy like Montrezl Harrell. Look, we praise Montrezl Harrell about his offensive package and his 19 points a game, but he's great at taking charges. He's an underrated shot blocker. And then we all know locked in Marc Gasol, what he brings to the table, along with Wesley Matthews locking in on the wing position at $3.6 million. Hey, it looks like pure gold to me for the Los Angeles Lakers.
And on the Clippers side, Serge Ibaka, I think, makes up for a lot of losses there. But, Zach, do you think they're done? Because a true ball floor general, it feels like they still need to fill out on that roster.
Well, there just aren't a lot of those players left unless they want to re-sign Reggie Jackson. It's getting to be slim pickings. But to answer your question, no, I don't think they're done. And I don't necessarily think there's a move that happens now or maybe even before the season. But I don't think the Clippers, as they stand right now, first of all, they have to add a couple of players. Second of all, I just don't think this is going to be the team that is playing for the title or playing in the playoffs after the trade deadline. I think they'll tweak it a little bit, but Ibaka was a hugely important signing for them.
I agree. Look, the Clippers dropped the ball. I thought they would be more aggressive this offseason. I thought that they would try to go out there and really pursue Rajon Rondo because that's what they're missing. They're missing that floor general. They're missing that veteran leader to be on the ball club, to be that guy who controls the locker room outside of basketball. But they didn't go out there and they didn't be aggressive. To me right now, the Clippers are losing, especially the LA battle, but they're losing in the free agency battle tremendously. Serge Ibaka was a good pickup, but they needed to add more pieces, and they're not getting it done right now.
Well, they got time before the trade deadline, still months away. We'll see how they tweak and come up with a roster that's going to take them into the playoffs. I do want to move on to Gordon Hayward because he and the Hornets agreed to a 4-year, $120 million deal over the weekend, guys. A lot of folks question Hayward opting out of his $34 million option with the Celtics for next season, but clearly it was for a reason. It worked out for him. Zach, what's your assessment of Charlotte's decision to gamble on Hayward here?
All right, let me defend the Charlotte Hornets a little bit. Do I think this is a good contract? Not really. Do I think it'll be like a trade asset in a couple of years? No. But it's not like the Celtics and the Pacers in a sign and trade were offering $80 million or $90 million. It was something over $100 million. So it's not like the difference was that big. And look, if you want free agents to come to Charlotte, this is what you have to do. Just like if you want free agents to come to any kind of small market, you have to overpay them. And all you want to say is, well, they should just keep tanking and tanking and tanking.
Well, Zach, I have to disagree with you. Look, I'm all in for players getting their bread and getting their lettuce. But for the Hornets, this was a bad deal. And look, we're coming up on Thanksgiving, and Michael Jordan is already thinking